Hey Jess, we're here for
Um,
episode 8.
yes, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm
me
happy to
too.
be here.
Me too. So, how are you doing? Just generally, let's check in with each other. How are you?
Ah, I think I'm more like I can't believe that we're almost halfway through the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about like Sarah just she's going back to school. Like we got the date for the end of August, and I'm like, wow. So, but otherwise, I can't complain. We're having a better summer at the sole purpose than we did last summer, so
That's always nice.
it was a
Yeah.
good thing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just back from Canada, so I'm a little bit like it's so funny when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I think I'm still there.
I was just saying, do you get this? Your body must get confused.
It does get confused. The first couple days,
Mhm.
whenever I move between places, it's a little bit of like, where am I?
Yeah, I can imagine. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there are also directional things like how I orient to the directions,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's a little
Yeah.
different.
It's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. So I'm back here now,
Yeah.
and
How does
just
it
here
feel
for a
to be
couple
back here?
weeks. Yeah, yeah,
Are you looking forward to going back?
yeah.
Yeah.
I am. I am. There's a whole different atmosphere being away from this country right now.
Yeah, I was curious how that feels. Daniel was saying what was he saying? Oh, about being because he was in Lithuania, he was in all over Europe, then he was here
Yeah,
in the States, and like he wasn't necessarily complaining about being here. He was just he could feel it from that
like
it's
a
very different.
jaggedness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, that we're so empathically flooded
Mm-hmm.
that people are just feeling it. And
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, is like an empathic flood.
mhm,
Um, it's a because I was like thinking about that lately, is almost like feeling like, is there a way to extra shield,
mhm.
like
Yeah,
while still being us, not, but just a way to kind of dial, I guess, that antenna down.
I think we have to be really mindful about that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because it's very easy to get flooded like up
Yeah.
above your head with this stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So actually, that leads me to my irk for the week.
I love hearing the irks.
Well, it's such a sad irk though because it's ice.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
I
that's
am
I would have to say it's
so
one of my big ones right now. I'm like appalled, absolutely appalled by
I'm
it.
horrified and terrified and a lot of fied words, I think. Mortified. The
Mortified.
recent two recent murders at the hands of ICE, and the lack of transparency and accountability is just
Yeah.
I I still can't even believe it.
Everything with in regards to that is so like there's no words.
Hmm.
It's so bad. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my irk of the
Yeah.
episode.
I would say mine might be in the same theme of like the lack of trend. I would say it might be a big umbrella irk because it's like ice. It's Mitch McConnell. It's like, is he dead? Is he on life support? The it's that, but it's the enmeshed lying
Uh-huh.
of with these hidden agendas that without any kind of care for the American people.
Yeah.
Like I'm seeing people struggling. I mean, we all have our own struggles, but it's the basic needs of the American people are being ignored
Yeah.
for just other people's agendas and for lining their own pockets, the greed. It's
Hmm.
so that has been
Greed,
I guess
power,
I should say
control.
a massive irk for me. I've been getting, like the obviousness of the information coming out proving it being
Hmm.
overlooked. I think it's like that's the part is like how can
And the blatant lying.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I mean,
that's,
the Mitch McConnell thing's so ridiculous right now that
I know, I know.
I'm like, why doesn't somebody just go there? Maybe they wouldn't let you in. I don't know, but I'm thinking like,
There,
somebody
there
show
has
up
to
and
be
check.
some investigative journalist who's really chomping at the bit to get to the bottom of
Like
this.
I'd dress up as I'd sneak in like the movies. I'd dress up in scrubs.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, I can't imagine just not
I
showing up
mean,
for my job.
well, I think that's the thing is that's coming up is like if I got taken out as the owner, when I say taken out, if I was on extended leave for illness and I
Yeah,
was unconscious or just unable to, there'd have to be some measures of at least some basic things stepping in and communication. Uh,
yeah,
that was a part I'm having a hard time because it's like he's literally not doing his job. There's
yeah.
nobody doing it. So it's at,
It's
at this
shocking.
point, with his age, it's like, be like, okay. So so yeah, I think that's the part is and how stupid do they think we are?
Uh-huh.
That's really what I mean, they're banking on the fact that that we're staying stupid. And
Hmm.
I hope that doesn't sound you know, but they're lumping everybody in with this like uneducated or whatever that, that there's a lot of us that are pretty well aware,
Hmm.
that this that's the part I'm like, I kind of can't wrap my head around.
I know. And then it's like, but who is the person to step up and do it?
Well, yeah, I mean, in the past, personally, I have always thought that it would be the Senate and the House because that's what their jobs are. There's that
Yes,
they uh but they have failed us miserably.
they have. Yeah,
Absolutely failed us.
yeah.
They're not working for us. We vote them in, but they don't work for us. They work for whoever's paying for them. So so I think that's part of what I'm dealing with the irks is the deep, there's a grief and disappointment.
Hmm.
Um, there's words probably that because I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in the Supreme Court
Hmm.
too. I feel like we're failed by like the lack of checks and balances. Like it's just like, oh, in dismissive of everything.
Yeah, it's
So
like the betrayal of trust.
betrayal is probably the word that might actually be the perfect word, is I feel betrayed by I mean, I never thought the government had, there's all,
I never thought it was perfect ever.
correct. Yeah, I mean, I never, it's not like surprising that there's corruption everywhere. I mean, so that isn't a surprise, but it's the in your face corruption.
Yeah, it is kind of strange to think of it because, it's if it's been, I don't know that it's been there to this extent though.
Well, I think that, yeah, I was just saying that we see corruption in things. I've seen it in
Yeah,
places of business. You see it. I remember the mayor in Providence,
right.
or was that
Buddy,
Buddy?
Buddy Cianci, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm just like you see shit like that. This takes the cake. Like this is, yeah, I don't. This is
Yeah,
stuff you see in the movies that you're like, thank God that's not our country, but
it
that
is our country. Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard to be present with it.
in our, yeah, I think I'm having a hard time with them having a hard time with it, like how we are to the rest of the world.
Oh yeah. No,
'Cause we're
it's,
like poison to the whole world right now,
I know. I know.
Oof.
It actually though leads me to, I feel like I have a couple of quirks today.
Yeah,
One of them is what I saw happening with the World Cup.
yeah,
That it seems like it brought up so much joy in our country.
mhm, yeah,
Like we
it
really
did.
needed that joy. And another favorite
Mhm.
quirk, that Trump got booed.
Yes, I one of the people here sent that to me, and I was very happy about that.
Yeah,
You know, um, I mean, I've paid attention to the World Cup in previous years, but not like this past time, because it really did seem unifying, didn't it?
it did. It
Like more
did. I
than the
was hearing,
Olympics. Like the Olympics wasn't very unifying.
no,
The was that last year? This just seemed to be like people were I was watching people make funny reels
oh,
about it that were so funny. You know,
yeah.
you
And
have
then, I mean, just the Tartan Army in
the
Boston. It
Scots,
just became a wave of joy and connection. So that's like, that's been one of my quirks.
it's I was paying attention to like even Daniel. It was
Mhm.
like we had to he had to be home for the game. It was like a big thing
Yeah,
uh that just I it did it put things into perspective for me is about sports. Like I'm not, I'm not like a huge Super Bowl or
mm-mm.
but I was like I could see where sports could bring people. It did. It brought that like this part of
Yeah,
us that is still playful and wants to
yeah,
have fun and even with the other parts of the world still bonding with us regardless of this
yeah,
shit show.
yeah. How about you? What's a quirk for you?
So trying to think about my bigger quirks, fun quirks. Um, mine might be a little more mediocre, but that's all right. I think with all of trying to unplug from, I know I'm talking about politics with you, but I do try to unplug to a certain extent, so it's not this all-consuming thing. Um, has been like I never remember the names of the shows, but my husband will find these fun. They're not always fun. They can be horror, but like getting into these series and like being
Oh,
an, as he
yes.
calls it, doing the old married couple thing,
Yeah, yeah.
like just like kind of watching it together, and
Uh-huh.
it's just it seems like it's actually been a healthy thing. Like this then
A
we're always trying to
distraction.
find new things. Yeah, like it's like okay with he has to give me a warning because I've been blindsided a few times at the series ends.
Oh,
And I'm like,
yeah.
that was the last episode. Like you didn't give me a heads up. Like I thought there was another season. Like I
I know when there should, when you really are into a
yeah,
series and you
yeah.
want it to keep going,
It's like a
and then
grief.
it's like gone, like some abandonment by a series is just
Yeah,
sad.
yeah.
Okay,
So
so what was one that ended too soon for you?
I'm trying to remember which one it was. Because right now we're watching a show called From. Remember, I can't remember the names of them all.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And what was the one? I
I know. I
knew
feel like I need to open up my like
I might have to look.
calendar and
Yeah,
look.
like
Yeah,
these the last one,
I'm
oh
gonna
my
look
God,
actually.
because they were all merging into each other. Like we watched
Uh-huh.
Testaments was one. I didn't
Oh,
uh
I haven't heard of that one.
it's the sequel to Handmaid's Tale.
No.
It's 15 years in the future.
What is it called? Testament?
Testaments. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh
okay.
yeah, it's definitely hits heavy. It
It's
gets into is it Lydia that was in Handmaid's Tale? She was one of the aunts, one of the big aunts. And they get a
not
bit
Lydia. Hmm.
it gets into her backstory
Oof.
too in yeah, like it's it's disturbing and good, but
Oh,
I was like,
I'm a
I didn't
little
realize
afraid
it
of
was
it.
that was when I didn't realize it was the last episode and I wasn't like mentally prepared at all. I was
Oh,
like, like I
Handmaid's
have to
Tale
wait
is
for the
such a
next.
deep dive, and I
So there is a new season coming out. But it's like I have to wait.
there's a new season of Handmaid's Tale
No, of Testaments,
of
like after
Testament.
this
Okay.
one. Yeah, yeah. And it has Oh, I'm having a brain fart. The one of the main characters of Handmaid's Tale, the blonde one. Um, Brain cramp. She was the main handmaid. Um, off,
Elizabeth,
off.
what's her name?
Uh, Not. It was something off. Was her name in here? But it's like her real. She's in a whole different character in this one. Uh,
Okay, cool.
like yeah,
Yeah.
like Canada plays a big role in this one.
It would have to.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but they get more into the backside of it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's that was one. There was a There's a couple others we watched that I don't remember the names because he was like, "Oh, that's done." Because I was like, "Why aren't we watching that?"
Right. I just finished watching one. I think it was called Somebody Somewhere,
Hmm.
Anybody Anywhere, one of those names. I
Okay.
don't have it and I can't find it right now. Um, but it was a lovely series. I will find it and put it in the show notes
Sure.
because it was
Yeah.
one of those like it's done. It can't be done. I was so
Yeah, it's
attached to the characters.
like from now it like we're watching from it has 5 seasons but four out. And
Hmm.
we're in the second season, but as we go, he's like, "This is the second season. There are two more left that we like." He's given me, and from his the people who did Lost.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so
Yep.
it's got that kind of a supernatural
Hmm.
and creep. It has a real creep vibe, horror vibe. And then we watched one that was kind of cutesy. I think it was called Upload, and it there was a bit of mystery in it. I think there was it was sci-fi, but it was
Okay.
about like it was in the future, and it was like if you die, you could be your consciousness could be uploaded
I think I
instead of
remember that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
something
one
about that. Yeah.
we did get hooked on it because it was cutesy. It like kind of yeah.
Nice. Oh my gosh. And I feel like we could stay in
Oh
this
yeah,
territory for the entire
I
episode.
know.
But we did get some suggestions as to what to talk
Mhm.
about.
Yep.
And one of the ones that we got was from Barbara, who is our best suggester. Like,
Yes,
thank you,
she's been
Barbara.
so great. Yes.
Thank you for your suggestions. We
Yes,
really
thank you,
appreciate it.
Barbara.
They're always really good. So Barbara was asking, what are our non-negotiable rituals or routines you both do every day to stay centered and calm? Any other practices you'd suggest? So,
Hmm.
what comes to mind for you?
Hmm. Well, some of mine are very mundane.
I think that's okay. I think
Yeah,
that
I think
actually helps with keeping them
like
consistent.
I have like this whole ritual with my cats in the morning. Like it's feeding them, it's brushing them,
Hmm.
and then it's the outdoor cats. But there's this whole process of like from the time I get up, and it does seem to ground me, if that makes any sense, because my mind tends to be busy when I wake up.
Yeah.
It's a more so than before I go to bed, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Uh, My other mundane routines, believe it or not, is not forgetting to take my freaking supplements.
Yeah.
It's like when she was talking to me, I was aligning with like my self-care,
Hmm.
being able to, because if I let certain things go, I don't stay grounded.
I feel like they're foundational things. Like I can build more sort of interesting or I don't
Mhm.
know, sort of esoterically intriguing things on top of this foundation.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like it's mundane, trivial, like might not sound really like a big deal. Like washing my face before bed has been a thing
Hmm.
uh, that I used to never do. Never did any like regular bedtime skincare, but
Yeah.
it's still not like that's over the top. It's like a commitment
Hmm.
ritual, I guess
Yeah.
might be. So there are those, and then of course there are the spiritual rituals I do,
Right.
um, that still aren't overwhelming. I don't think of them as overwhelming, I guess.
No, 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 no. Yeah, I think for me, I that's what came to mind for me very like almost immediately when I read that question was that these routines that are like the non-negotiables, they do not
Yeah.
change are really pretty mundane. It's and for me it's like some connection with nature, and
Yep.
the creatures are often the catalyst for that, like the
Mm.
routines that I have with Rue. I mean, it's
Yep, my dogs too. Yeah.
yeah, with Rue and with Ruth and Buttercup. Like they're just things that have to happen with the creatures.
Yeah.
And that always grounds me.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
no,
probably my
no
number one
kidding.
is the creatures. Yeah. Because
Hmm.
it's like I have the cats, then I have Rose, Rose and Phoebe.
Yeah.
Uh, as you know, and Rose has got medical. She
Yeah.
needs meds when I get up. It's like a
Yep. Same with Rue. Hmm. Yeah. And that always keeps me down to earth
Mhm.
and gives me this foundation. And other
Yeah.
things like, drinking water. It seems
Yeah.
so basic, but, if I'm not drinking water with,
Yeah, I've got mine. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't do that, I'm going to be off. And
Yeah.
certainly, and no matter what I put on top of these things or add to these things over the rest of my day,
Yeah.
these things are the most important things because they set the foundation, the strong foundation.
Like I started, I think you've known I've been adding in exercise
Hmm.
rituals
Yeah.
because I always struggled with that my whole life. Rather than using the word lack of motivation, because I would say I have plenty of motivation.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, it's been resistance my whole life. Like, I don't know what it was, but this time it was a bit of a pull up your panties and stop being a baby energy. I had to,
Yeah, the things that
sometimes,
we're in resistance to tend to
yeah, like
run away
it's
with us
like, well, this
sometimes.
isn't benefiting your health, or
Yeah.
this is, I kind of had that. So, I did start small, and then I moved up into more specific routine, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. Like with it, and that I feel is has been extremely grounding
Hmm.
uh, and almost meditative for me.
Yeah. 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 And I think that, you know, when she's asking for any other practices you'd suggest, I mean, I think again, it's pretty basic, like meditative time, whatever you know,
Yeah.
your type
Yeah,
of meditation is. And there are many ways to meditate.
yeah, like you're right. Like my time to do a lot of my spiritually stuff sometimes is before bed or it's when I can fit it in, but I find it tends to be kind of like it coexists with me throughout the day.
I think
I don't
that's the thing about being in the type of business you are, especially, and I think mine too, is that
Mhm.
it's these things are just things we're doing all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it's
Yep.
it's part of the routine. And I think that's why this is sort of an interesting question because I don't think about them. They're
No,
so
it's, I was just saying,
automatic.
like, I just think of, like, right now as we're talking, I'm like, oh, okay, these are a bit of these little spiritual routines.
Hmm.
Like, some of it might be going out into my backyard.
Yeah.
Uh, you know what I mean? And checking on, the tree or
Yeah.
just to kind of connect, Um, sometimes it's like it's an altar in the house.
Hmm. Yeah. And for me, it's also like depending on where I am, that connection with nature piece looks a little different in each place and even looks different like when I'm traveling, but it's always there.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
have so when I was in Canada the last like week and a half, maybe as much as 2 weeks that I was there was I love how nature reminds me sometimes
Yeah.
to stay connected. There was a juvenile seagull, and I imagine it was I think it was a juvenile seagull
So
with
cute.
its mother, and they
Hmm.
were hanging out nearby. Like, and I could always tell where they were because this juvenile seagull was a chatterbox, just like nonstop, and this really
Walking.
interesting squawk, this sort of squawky, screechy sound. It wasn't the usual gull sound.
Yep.
Um, but I would know exactly where they were because it was loud. It was
It's funny.
persistent all day long. And then every once in a while, the what I'm imagining was the mother bird was just like would like yell
Like,
back at it,
yeah, like
like just
stop.
stop already.
Yeah,
I was
nature.
getting the biggest kick out of it.
It's like, have you been following that raccoon, Jimothy?
No.
You have
Who's Jim?
not?
Who's Jim? Oh, I need to look
Jimothy
at
is a
Jimothy.
raccoon in Seattle. He's taken over the world right now. Because he looks like a mythical cryptid because he has a short spine disease.
Oh.
So but they're pulling everybody's ring cameras. People in Seattle are going nuts. They're like, we'll wage war for him.
He's
And
the
he's very
official
odd
mascot now.
looking. He's so odd looking. He just looks like a ball.
Uh,
Like, but he's adorable, odd look. That people are painting pictures of him. It's like
Jimothy.
and I don't know who named him, but there's like it's showing people are, he's well cared for in Seattle. He's fed. Um,
Hmm.
but he's also he's got his raccoons he hangs out.
So
So
I
I'm thinking
was,
of like he's grounded. I think that's what, in a way, I'm like
hmm,
kind of giving everybody something to focus on for the greater good. Like there's this simple little animal has no idea he's taken the United States by storm.
right? Yeah, there was an elephant seal. Um,
Oh, Neil.
Neil the seal. Yes.
I love Neil. He's like, he just like body slams the
Oh,
posts in Tasmania. Yes.
yeah. He's taken out signs left, right, and center. He comes back every year, and then
Yeah.
he just left, I guess.
Did
He's
he?
gone for the
I was
year.
thinking of him the other day. I'm like, I wonder if he's gone back out to sea. Because
Yes.
he had a picture. He was in their window, like just staring into the house, like, and he's huge.
Yes.
Huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know, when I think of this topic and what we've been
Yeah.
exploring so far about this, I think the bottom line is keep it simple.
Yes, keep it simple is perfect because it's interesting. It was a good topic that she brought up, and it's made me think because I used to think it needed to be more complicated, like I was doing something wrong.
I know.
Um, I'd be like, I'm not complicated enough. I'm not spending an hour a day chanting in front of a very complicated altar, or
Well, and I think,
whatever. Yeah,
yeah, I think that's actually one of the problems that people end up getting into is that they create these rituals that are so complex, they're not sustainable.
correct. Yeah, like it's really, unless you don't, you're just, even if you have no job and you're retired, it still could be unsustainable, some of those things.
Yep. And find the ones that speak to you,
Hmm.
that work in your language, whatever your language is.
Yeah.
And yeah, keep it simple, sweetheart. That, KISS acronym. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it was a good question from her because I think it's something that comes up for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Don't make it complex, keep it consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we had another um, inquiry from Gabrielle.
Mm-hmm.
So let me read it so that we've got it right. People starting their own businesses and learning that it's okay to be compensated for their gifts, charging what you're worth, etc. You could also talk about what you would do differently if you could go back to the beginning and what steps you could take to get your business going faster or with more confidence. So we did talk about some of these things in episode 2,
Yeah.
um, you know, being in the business of spiritual business. But when you and I were talking, before we hit record today,
Yeah. Yeah.
we ended up going down a little bit of a rabbit hole about about a little bit of what being in spiritual business is like and some of the things that I think are kind of irking us.
Yeah. Yes.
And Gabrielle, we'll try to answer your question in the midst of this rabbit hole that we're going
Hmm.
down. But I think some of your answers are also in episode 2.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did we start off on this, Jess?
Well, I was talking, well, one, we were talking about what would we change.
Hmm.
We started with that, and I was thinking, I'm not sure I would change much. I mean, back then I probably would have liked things to take off more rapidly, but a lot
Everybody
of the
does, yeah.
stuff that happened is what built the confidence, or I learned, and but we got into the topic of how being in the spiritual business world or metaphysical or
It's
wellness, whatever word,
different.
is super different
Yeah.
from traditional business world.
Yeah, and I
You
think
know,
actually in this moment, what's coming to me is that I think what both of us have that many people getting into the, spiritual wellness, whatever you want to call it, personal growth business
mhm,
world don't have is that we each had business experience
correct. We both did.
before coming into this
Yeah,
world. And that I think makes a shit ton of difference.
it does. I mean, I would encourage anybody in this, even if it is spiritual business world, to take, even if not that you have to go get a degree, but you could take some basic business courses,
Yeah,
or,
even like
you know,
I've recommended a bunch of times the SBDC, the Small Business
correct.
Development Center.
Yeah, because they used to meet with people too, right?
They
I
do, they
remember.
still do.
Yeah,
Yeah. And different states have different, I mean, they vary from state to state, but
yeah.
just getting some business acumen under your
Yes,
belt is a good idea.
that's actually what I was going to say. Yeah, I remember when I worked in Fall River. At the time, it was the Lafayette Bank. Now it's Mechanics. But I remember we worked that particular bank that was very immersed in community programs.
Yeah.
One thing, and I was the community reinvestment officer there. So we worked, it was a business office, like a small business office that was in the Fall River City Hall. I have no idea if it's still there because this was a long time ago. And they often would even give like forgivable loans,
Yeah.
uh, in business consulting and training, help people with business plans, uh,
Yeah.
and put those together to help them get off the ground. And that seems to be missing from the spiritual world. I think, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong. I think there's been a divide in the world of spirituality, is like it being a business,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Well, I run into this with when I'm teaching spiritual finance, um, because so often not only do people have limiting beliefs about money, if they're in business, they also have limiting beliefs about business because
Yeah,
business is portrayed as bad, as evil,
right.
as manipulative, as
Money
corrupt
hungry.
all the time. And so they kind of have to, I think that people getting into these heart centered businesses,
Yeah.
businesses that feel like a calling, they think that they can't act like businesses because business is bad,
Mm-hmm.
but
No,
business
it's
isn't
it's so
bad.
true, and it's interesting that that belief exists, because we can't exist without businesses.
Right.
you know
Yeah.
um and as I tell people, there's a big difference between like a conglomerate, or like you and
Sure.
I've had those, the greed. If I would love to be like Jeff Bezos making that kind of money, but I think you and I have talked about that, like we wouldn't, at least I don't think so, we wouldn't be greedy. I'd be trying to help the world because you
Right.
can.
Right.
um but yeah, I think, and not just in the spiritual business. I mean, when people have a business idea,
Mm-hmm.
it usually is a heart-centered
Yeah.
or a call, but more so in the spiritual, metaphysical, wellness,
Mm-hmm.
artsy industries. Um,
Yeah.
so we're
I see people going into, it's sort of like the dark side of spiritual business that people go into these businesses that feel like callings to them, and then they're surprised when they don't work.
correct. I see that a lot, and I
It's
hear it a lot.
heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Mhm.
to see that. And I think what is missing is this understanding that the mundane things about business are like the foundation, just like
It's
our
true.
habits.
It's like, and I sometimes have to talk to myself. I call it my business laziness. If you, I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that's right. Of
Yep.
like, shit, I didn't run reports today.
Right.
Like right now, I'm like, shit, I didn't run reports today. Like I did. Like it's Monday's our reports day.
Uh-huh.
So it's like I see, what was where's class attendance at this month, and where was it last year, and where was it the year before?
Yep.
Where's how's service income going for, because it's I have to know the well-being of the company, just
Right.
like I do my own body.
Right.
So people because that well-being, it's not about just money,
Yeah.
it's about the well-being of everybody here.
Yeah. And I absolutely believe in what I practice as being radical entrepreneurism, which is really designing your business to benefit you.
Correct. Yeah.
Um, which is, I think, unfortunately missing in a lot of sort of mainstream business building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and at the same time, even under that umbrella of radical entrepreneurism, there's a certain amount of like, you kind of have to roll up your sleeves and do the dirty
Hmm.
work that, and not, I don't mean dirty work as in deceitful, but dirty as in like, I'm thinking of cleaning a barn. Like
Yeah, no,
somebody has to shovel the
I get,
shit.
yeah, like it is, it's kind of like if we were to literally buy a building
Uh-huh.
that needed rehab or deep cleaning, like you are going to get dirty.
Yeah,
Um, I know exactly what you mean. Like even here, when we expanded we got dirty.
sure.
Uh, or it's putting a bit of that kind of what I refer to as sweat equity
Yeah.
into it.
And it can be things like the things that are not glamorous, like
Mhm.
putting together a newsletter, doing social media postings, or maintaining your email
I'm
list.
laughing because I can through the years hear myself complaining about doing these things, but
Oh, me too.
it is what keeps everything going.
Yes.
Uh, Nowadays, well, the other thought I had too was not to just say it's just from my experience in banking, because I now on the other side I realized I wasn't just dealing, say, with homeowners or a person, what you would call personal consumer real estate. I was dealing too with commercial businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd get somebody coming who's buying a gas station,
Right.
or you get somebody who's coming in who's buying a restaurant, or somebody who's starting a church, believe it or not. You know what I mean? And they were the bank had certain opinions about certain businesses, I will say. Like banks do not like to finance churches
No,
because they don't want to have to foreclose on that church and have bad press. That's actually what it comes down to. I remember
that makes
dealing with
sense.
that a
Yeah.
lot. But ultimately, what I'm getting at is these, whether it's a store,
Mm-hmm.
whatever those businesses are, there's typically a foundational, already created business plan,
Mm-hmm.
templates for these types of businesses. And I feel like in this holistic, spiritual, metaphysical, it doesn't really exist.
There's such a resistance to
Yeah.
even making plans on your own terms. Because I think a business plan doesn't have to look like the typical template of a business plan, unless you're going to apply for a business loan, then you better have one.
Correct.
But I don't think you have to do it in the traditional sense if
Correct.
it's absolutely abhorrent to you, but you better have some way of navigating and having some idea of what you
Mhm.
want to do, how it's going to work monetarily, how you're going to get there, what the timeline is going to be for getting there. That's
Like set
another
your
thing.
goals. Yeah.
Yeah. Having really specific, tangible goals along the way of that plan. And I think there's such a reluctance and a resistance to doing that because it feels too businessy, as if
I think,
business is bad.
it's as you say that, like getting into this world, like it's been a lot of soul searching because
Mm-hmm.
this was a calling. And then I created a lot of my own line in the sand, so to speak, resistance to anything that resembled banking.
Right. Yeah.
Or, I mean, I've had conversations with you with where I realized like that there was a gift in my experience in business that I was trying to almost like chop an arm off.
Right.
Like, I don't necessarily, how do I put, like, need to live in that hat, so to speak. But it's a hat I can utilize.
Yeah.
That isn't my favorite thing to do, but it's also to make my dream happen. I used it. It was a tool. Does that
Sure.
make sense?
It totally does. And I think of it as, when you're in business for yourself, it's almost like having a child in a way. You can think
Yes,
of it
I
as a
think of
child
the
or
same
a
like that.
baby
Yeah,
animal that
yeah.
this thing is going
Like,
to
yeah.
ask me to do things that I don't necessarily want to do. It's going to need things that I don't necessarily want to provide, but it needs it. So I
Mhm.
have to do it. It's going
Yeah,
to ask me to write newsletters. It's going to ask me to run the books. And that's part of it. And I think the sooner you can come to terms with it being part of it and creating a relationship where you can live with that, the sooner
yeah.
your business can succeed.
I would agree with you, Carrie, because I think they're also in this, at least I've encountered it in the industry, it might go back to kind of the whole like the secret, like creating what you
Oh, I
call,
was going to talk about that. Yeah.
which I'm sure you'll probably expand on, but that, I mean, I even got caught in that little of like, oh, well, if I don't like doing this, I don't have to do this, or
Right.
and so I think through the years I've had to learn how to discern, meaning when do I outgrow something and it's time for me to expand and let something go within the business,
Mm-hmm.
versus when am I just being like, because it's hitting an edge or a part of me that I don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
It's like I've learned how to now navigate it because otherwise, yeah, sometimes I hope I'm making sense. I'm thinking of that balance of, yeah, we want to enjoy what we do. It's something I've talked to you about in coaching sessions. Like,
Absolutely.
if I'm
Yeah.
absolutely miserable and I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, I have to
Yeah.
reevaluate those tasks. And some of those tasks I've hired people to do because I absolutely hate them.
Sure.
So, but also there's some that I just can't not do as the owner or whatever. So it's so there's a balance to that too, of
Yeah.
that this comes with the territory of being, if you go and get a job at an institution, you might be pigeonholed into that job container,
Mm.
and somebody else is doing all the other stuff. But when you're
Right.
the curator of it, um, yeah, I think it's demystifying that there are pretty straightforward business principles that we can follow
Yeah.
to be entrepreneurs and still be able to maintain our integrity or whatever word.
Yeah. And still maintain, the enjoyment of what the calling is.
Yes, yeah,
The foundational practices of business are going to be helpful so that you can build upon it and really enjoy your work and have it in balance with your life, like the
right.
rest of your life.
The
It's really
balance.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm thinking with the sole purpose, it really was kind of creating more structure, like you were
Hmm.
talking about. Like, I mean, I do business planning and strategic planning, and sometimes I actually find it fun now
Yeah.
because I had to really like, get out of my own way where it's like I set goals or
Yeah.
this is what we're going to do in the, like right now I'm working on 2027.
Hmm.
But also I recognize that sometimes things you get to a point and you don't hit the goal.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a failure. It's just more like, okay, I didn't get to complete this. So it's either getting tabled or it's back on the with a new goal.
Yeah, it's feedback. I really do like to think of failure as more as feedback, because if something doesn't land the way
Right.
I hoped it would, or it doesn't complete in the way I had hoped it would, that's just giving me information. And
Mm-hmm.
so paying attention to that information and getting curious about, okay, so what can I do with this information going forward? How can I adjust my strategy?
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
to,
and one advice I would give though is throw spaghetti at the wall.
yeah, keep trying things.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what sticks.
Yeah, I've been surprised. The things that I've
Yeah.
had sort of, well, this is a crazy idea, and I really don't think this is going to stick. And they have.
Right. It's like, I mean, I think of that in business and all the meetings through the years, not just here, where
Mhm.
we never really looked at things as failures. Like you said, that is a business thing. It's information. It's more of like, okay, we thought this was going to work. It didn't.
You know what? Actually, I think that's one of the key differences between
Hmm.
other businesses I've been in the past versus this kind of personal growth world that I'm in now, is
Very
that when
much.
people are in these kind of businesses that feel like callings for them, when there is a failure,
It
they think of it
hurts.
as such a personal, like, I don't know, it's like there's a deep grieving that happens, and it's
Yeah.
like there can be a certain end of the world quality to it.
No, that's very, very true. It's as I tell, and I've told people here, and it's still something people have to process. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you have a great idea for, say it's a in this industry, say it's a class or a program,
Hmm.
and um and you put it out and you think it's gonna land. Like you think, I mean, it's happened to both of us. I'm just
It's
like,
happened recently.
this is so fucking awesome. It's gonna sell out, right? I'm just saying, like, I might feel that confident.
Yeah.
And then it goes over
Crickets.
like a fart in church. That's what I say. Like it's
Yeah.
like lingering, looming. Nobody's acknowledging it, and I'm like, so I have in the past taken it personally. That's how
Oh,
I
sure, I have to.
speak
Yeah.
on it, you know.
Yeah.
And it was another business colleague that is not in this industry that made the comment to me of like, well, maybe, very matter of fact, like it might not mean that your idea is a flop. It just might need to be rebranded, or
Yeah.
maybe it needs to be presented differently. Maybe it didn't
Yep.
make sense to people like the way you thought it did, or maybe the
Mhm.
timing wasn't right. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean it was a bad idea, And then I was like, huh, like okay, you
Yeah.
know, um, there, like I said, there's times I've retired things. Or I've tried something so many different ways, and I'm like, and other times I have felt the need to be relentless and not give up. And then it eventually does take off or
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the phrases that comes to mind for me is one I use often with people, and that is like, you have to care more about your business than anybody else.
yes.
And I run
That's
into this with my clients every once in a while, where I'll feel like I care more about their business than they do.
correct.
And that's
Correct.
that's always a tip off to me. Like, something's off if somebody else can care more about your business than you do.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a good one. Yeah.
yeah. And to think about, and I do think of as businesses as really potent spiritual teachers.
Yeah, the sole purpose has been my biggest teacher.
Yeah.
It's brought me, it not only sustains me,
Hmm.
it has pretty much brought every inner child problem I have
Yeah.
up into my face.
Everything's going to come up in your face. Yeah. Always.
It's like, okay, let's do this next, and but of course, as a business owner, there's been times where I would be lying if I said I didn't have moments where I'm like, is this worth it?
Oh, absolutely. When I'm approaching
Yeah,
burnout, that's when it's going to come up for me.
yeah. And then
Uh,
that's when I realize, like you, I'm like, oh, I need to reset
yeah,
because I'm not any good right now like this.
right. I feel like I'm getting, just as an aside, I feel like I'm getting close to that because of the way I work my work schedule. I work for 3 months and then I take a month off. Uh,
And your
I'm
month is coming
I'm
up.
getting close to the month, so I feel like in these final 2 weeks of my work in this
Hmm.
session, I'm having a little bit of senioritis. Like I don't want to do the newsletters. I don't want to do the website updates. I
Well, it's
don't,
because you got to get it done before you go too.
I
So
have
you
to.
got
I
self
have to get it
pressure.
done, but I don't want to. I'm having a little bit of a whiny moment.
Yeah,
Like I
I
don't
still
want to.
procrastinate. Sometimes I'm like, you should know better, Jess. You're doing this last minute again. And
Yeah.
then I have to write,
Yeah.
there's still that part of me is like an adrenaline junkie. I get off on it. You know, it's my own
Well,
damn fault.
and
Yeah.
that's why I work the way that I do is that I get to plug into a lot of adrenaline for those 3 months and
'Cause
I
you
enjoy
get
it.
creative. Yeah, you get ultra creative during those moments, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like there's different things that cause me highs.
That's right. There's definitely a business high that can happen.
Yeah, like fun things too,
Mhm.
but yeah, like you're saying, there's times where it is like you're like this is work. I remember I think it was Carolyn Meese. She was talking, I forgot. She can be really mean
Mm.
if you listen to her,
Yeah.
which is probably one of the reasons I like listening to her because she's just so blunt.
She's really straightforward. Yeah.
And it was one of the books, and she's talking about, that about the spiritual, this whole thing we're talking about. She's
Hmm.
talking about it and how somebody's like, I'm only going to work 3 days a week from 10 to 2. And she says it like that. And like, and I'm going to make this much money and this is what, and my spirit guides are going to send everything my way.
It's
Like, but she said it in a much,
the new age denial is off the charts.
yeah, and she was like, that's not how it works when you have a call. It becomes it's a call.
Hmm.
And it's like that you do have to sometimes put extra in to give birth to it or to, and then, not that you get to ride it out. It doesn't always feel like such a lot of work if you love it, or it's a
Right.
call.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand the balance, but that always resonated with me because I was with a lot of people who are like, well, I don't think it's wrong to have a schedule so you can have work-life boundaries. You've had to
No.
coach me with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're starting a business and you're out of the gate, you should
Mhm.
be valued for what you do. But if you have zero clientele,
Yeah.
and nobody knows who you are, and then you do have to be mindful, I feel, of like how you're presenting or how you sell it, like your price range at
Yeah.
that point. I mean, I had to do that. I had to prove my worth to however, I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but
Yeah. Well, and also understand, I mean, do the math.
though that's what I guess I'm saying is common sense. Maybe common sense is the best way. Is like, are you
Yeah.
charging 200 an hour and nobody knows you exist, nobody knows who you
Right.
are,
Yeah.
and they don't know why would they invest that in you if you have no testimonial, no refer people to refer to you.
Yeah.
So it's like I always say, building the business is where you, as Carolyn Meese would say, you prostitute yourself a little
Right.
consciously.
Yeah. Well, and
Con-
all,
yeah.
yeah. And also, like, I think people often go into business looking at people who are successful in business already,
Yeah.
and they don't really think about what it took to get to that place of success in business. And they also don't see they only see the tip of the iceberg, right?
Yeah. They don't see the
They
long
don't
hours.
see
They,
all that's
yeah.
underneath the surface that gets done, all the back end work that has to happen for that tip of the iceberg to look really inviting. Um,
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
and
It's like
there's,
right, you've worked hard to build your reputation, just like I
mhm,
have.
yep.
It's business reputation, if you
Mhm,
and but in the beginning, I didn't have that either. Nobody knew
no,
who I was. I had people took chances on me, referring people to me
yeah,
back then because there was no social media when I started either. I think
nor I.
MySpace might have been, I don't remember. Everything was done by email, snail mail,
Yep.
going around. I used to go drive around and bring my pamphlets into like yoga studios, just trying to network.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And those things can still work.
they do. Sometimes we still do that now. Good old fashioned.
Sometimes they work better than social media. I think um, whenever anybody is in a personal service type of industry,
Hmm.
it's all based on relationship.
It is. Yes.
And if people think that, I see this as a pitfall, if people think that, oh, I'll put out social media posts and that will bring somebody to my $200 an hour service,
Yeah.
like,
I don't mean to laugh, but I understand exactly.
it's not, you don't have a connection with that person just because of a social media post. You actually
Right,
need
right,
to create relationship before they're going to come to you.
right,
And so look for ways to create relationships with people.
right, right. It's because at the end of the day, it's the relationships that matter.
It does.
Saying like so has social media was very good to the sole purpose.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean it's
Yeah.
but it's also sometimes like screaming into the void
Yeah.
because it's just so many we're all on there and it people are now get overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed.
Yeah, so you got to hit them from I don't mean that in a negative way, but it is I get overwhelmed with all the stuff I see. So
Yeah. Me too.
it's but some people see us there. It's so a lot of people still get referred,
Hmm.
you know it's it is developing those relationships, and like we were talking about I think before we came on,
Hmm.
is knowing who those people that you do kind of refer, have relationships with. Like we were talking about that I've encountered more cutthroatness in this industry than I did in the banking
Oh boy.
retail world, believe it or not, because I was in retail too before banking. um
I think we should talk about some of the bad behavior that we see in this industry just as a cautionary tale to avoid doing these things.
mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, a lot of jealousy.
yep.
There's a lot of unfortunate jealousy is natural, envy is natural to people, I get that, but we have to be adult enough to kind of self-reflect and be like, well, what am I feel I'm lacking, or
Yeah.
however or put things in perspective. But I've seen a lot get into trouble with, as we were talking, jealousy, territorialness.
Hmm.
Um,
Just that, falling victim to comparison and competition,
mhm.
comparing yourself to somebody else's way of doing things, comparing to their success, remembering what you're seeing is just the tiniest bit of the iceberg. You do not know that person's full picture. We never do. And
No,
so that comparison, competition, jealousy is like a poison in the water hole.
yeah, it goes against what we stand for.
Hmm.
So it, in a way, I think causes a block for a lot of people. And then, as we know, there's a lot of projection. As I say, I see it a lot,
Yeah.
in this industry because we work with energy, we work with all these things, but also, uh, as Barbara mentioned, those things that keep you grounded are very important because then you're just, I've seen a lot of spiritual paranoia.
Say more. What do you mean
Like
by that?
I call it spiritual paranoia. I don't know if that's the right
I
word.
want to know what you mean by that. Yeah.
Well, it's got like I've had feedback come back to me that certain people think I don't know, or not just me. I've heard it from other people thinking to other, say, business owners are sending black magic to them
Oh,
to block
okay.
their business from happening, or like energetically, I'm investing all this energy to, energetically attack another. Like it's come back, and I'm like, what that tells me is that person might be doing it. I don't know.
Or,
Or, or
when
they're just,
somebody,
it's just so not real.
and who would have the time?
I don't have time for that. So I was like, what if I'll be honest, Carrie, if I had the ability to do shit like that or remotely spy on a company, I'm gonna be working for like the CIA or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna be wasting my time doing stuff like that. Uh, I don't have time to do stuff like that, you
No,
know?
no. So anybody who's projecting like that
It's like a
somebody's doing,
projecting and paranoia, like these people are jealous of me, and this person is out to get me, and this person's sending this, um, and it's, I feel like if you're in the heart and
Hmm.
you consciously work to stay in the heart, you don't get impacted even if that stuff was around, I guess.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
you know, it's at the end of the day, uh, I've had people say to me, "Aren't you up?" This was years ago. Like, so if this place opened up down the road, or
Mm,
if your students are gonna go teach and do what you're doing, and I was just like, well, I wouldn't be teaching if I was worried about that.
right. You wouldn't be
Like it's
empowering others to do the same thing or
yeah,
similar things
I
to what
was
you
like,
do.
I said at the end of the day, I still like to learn. I just learn new things to do.
Right.
It
Yeah.
opens up new doors for me to try other things. If other people take, to me, it's just an increase in energy increases. So
Yeah. Also, I think that there was somebody who asked me this question in the past couple of months. They said, or they were making a comment saying, I need to find a unique thing that to do to differentiate myself from the other people doing the same thing that I do. And I said, well, you don't necessarily have to do that because I really do believe there's more than enough to go around.
yes, yeah, I do
And
too. Yeah,
it's success comes from being true to yourself, you know,
yeah,
because your
yeah. I
clients
see.
are your clients are going to need you, not the person in the next business down the road. They need you. So it's part of our job as business owners to be as visible as possible so that our people that need us can find
Yeah,
us.
it's I hear both what you're saying. Like I've had experiences with things where um like I tell people, people usually don't come to you. They think they're coming to you for the modality. They're coming for you.
Yeah, they're coming
So
for
it's
you.
we usually are the person selling whatever it is. We're just using that modality as a tool, so to speak.
Hmm.
Occasionally there are certain things we've had to look at it because it is like, why are we not getting people for this where there's a need
Sure.
for or things of that nature where it's like, well, what can we do to just get them in the door?
Yeah,
I'm like, then that person has an opportunity to sell themselves. Does that make sense? Like,
sure.
yeah, like in that respect, but
Well, it's about creating the relationship again. Like sometimes
it
you have
is.
to get people through the door just to be able to
Yeah.
start to cultivate those relationships. They
Yeah,
have
because
to
it's
get to
like
know
these
you.
people are afraid or whatever. Sometimes it's just the nature of what it is. We're dealing with people's feelings and emotions.
It's
But
confronting. Yeah.
yeah, but like you're saying, like, yeah, I mean, you can throw a rock and hit a Reiki practitioner in the head right now.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
but it doesn't mean that people can't be successful. I hear,
Yeah.
there is a lot more of us out there doing things that,
Hmm.
but again, if you stay, as you're saying, authentic and show up
Yeah.
the way you work, and that's what people really eventually respond to.
Yeah. And
Is
it's about having enough stick-to-itiveness to not to give it time to actually take.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes it does take longer than others. That I've seen. Like certain things might
Hmm.
appear that way in the 3D world. Like that person seemed to take off quick because they had some type of niche. I'm just using that as a whatever. And I'm struggling, but sometimes the path is different for each person because maybe there's something that had to happen in that
Hmm.
path
Yeah.
that you had to get real with. I've had to do that. It's like I had to get clear. I wasn't clear. I thought I was, but I wasn't. Or
Yeah.
my pricing wasn't right.
Yeah.
I wasn't valuing myself enough.
Hmm.
Or um, as you're saying, like it's not always about like you need to learn 10 more modalities or
No. No,
as
if
you know.
something isn't working, it's sometimes it just hasn't been growing long enough to work.
I
You
would
know,
agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
one of the things that I learned just in other businesses that if you're creating a business, it's 3 to 5 years. before you're really going to see business
There's a
success.
lot of truth to that. That I think that was really kind of the trajectory for the sole purpose
Right. And I
question.
think people coming into starting their own businesses think it's going to be, 3 to 6
I get
weeks.
I get that a lot. Like I want it to be now, and I mean I can totally understand that. Uh, Also one of the things, because you coach people, so but I'll say practitioners here, you
Hmm.
know, I know that the people who work here can utilize the sole purpose base or following our audience, all of that. And we of course will market, but at the end of the day,
Hmm.
the person themselves has to be invested in that.
Yeah.
Like it's not, I can keep throwing it out there, but if they're not sharing it or participating, I think you know
It's
what I
not
mean
going to
by
work.
that. Or they lose sight, they're too busy to focus, they don't share anything, or they don't whatever. There's lots of reasons.
Well,
Um,
it's back to that example of you can't, as the maybe the roof that they're under, the sole purpose roof, you can't care more about their business
that's
than
what
they
happened.
do,
Yeah. No,
or
that's
it
actually
won't work.
yeah. And even though I know some of them really do care, they just don't know how to get out of their own way yet. Sometimes I can
That's a
see it.
good point. Like
Yeah.
there needs to be a certain kind of caring. And it's
Hmm.
kind of like when I go back to that idea of, taking care of a small animal or baby, like you have to give them what they need. And
Yeah.
knowing what your business needs and being the one who cares for that the most,
Yes. Yeah.
not just
I would
the,
agree with that. It is a constant nurturing,
mhm,
uh, off sometimes, and just like with a growing, I always say like the sole purpose went from infancy to toddler to tween to teen to now as an adult, like its nutritional needs are different, right? Like you're saying,
yes.
like it requires different things.
Yeah,
For me, I had to adapt too and realize, oh, this is not the same company. I had that problem when I moved into the bigger space.
I remember.
It took me like a year for that to actually sink in. Like, this is not the same company.
No, it's so
And
much
it,
bigger.
it
Yeah.
it it got in my way a bit. Like it was
Hmm.
like I remember when it clicked, and I was like, oh, it's a whole different company. Uh,
Yeah.
like it's grown up in a different way. It's
Yeah. It's
yeah,
required you to be a different kind of business owner than you
yeah,
used to be because it has changed. And I think that's the other thing that people new to being in business for themselves would be good to remember, which is the need for being nimble,
yeah, yeah.
and responsive. So if
Hmm.
something doesn't work, don't get attached to that being the thing.
It's
you know,
a
to be able
yeah,
to be nimble and really reflect on, okay, so what can I learn from this? Not to take it too personally, but take it as
yeah,
information. Because
yeah,
you did that very well. I witnessed that throughout
yeah.
the
You had a
trajectory.
front row seat.
Yes. I think of it more as the backstage pass.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right. You've been right there with me. Usually hear it before I hear it sometimes. Um, it's but I remember that sometimes I feel a little slow, but I don't mean that in a self-derogatory way, just like, well, that took me a bit to figure out. It was right there the whole time. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it gets revealed. I
I
couldn't.
think that's another thing too, is that sometimes it is helpful to have other people, you
Mhm.
know, to to have other perspectives in the mix. So like the people that are under the roof of your business, they've got your perspective. Hopefully they're utilizing your perspective in the mix in the development of their businesses.
Yeah.
um, I work with people to be that outside perspective, because sometimes when you're in business, you're just too close to it to see
Yes.
the obvious things, and
Yeah.
somebody who's a wise counsel can, you
They
know
can see it almost like they have a bigger, like a broader perspective.
right, they have the meta view. Hmm.
But I would agree with you too, like with I was thinking that because I love cats and
Yeah.
but it's like if you have a farm that starts off with one cat or a goat, right? And then like if that's how the sole purpose started,
Hmm.
right? It's one thing. Now
Yeah.
I've got a whole barnyard. So you have to feed those things like if you want to look at say the divisions of the branches.
You have, okay, so
Yeah.
you have a zoo because you've
I have a
got like,
zoo.
I'm thinking of how a zoo operates and just all
Yeah.
the dietary differences
Yeah.
within a zoo and all the different types of care that
Yeah.
all of these different species require. I think the sole purpose is more than a farm. It's like a zoo because it
I
does
guess I
so
would
many
agree, but
things.
it's like if I forget to take care of that, particular zoo
Yeah,
animal or whatever, it's not gonna exist.
right.
It'll die. So
Mhm.
I think that's another part too, is not everybody has to expand in the way I have.
No,
That's not really what I'm getting at.
no.
But you do have to nurture and pay attention to your business. Like one thing I've learned from you, uh, give a plug to your spiritual finance,
Mm,
is one of the banes I have seen in business is people looking at their finances,
yeah,
see the health of the business, because
yeah,
I think, I mean, I've done it. There's been fear of like, oh, I don't think it's doing so good, whatever it is. And
yeah.
so you don't look and you just kind of keep existing day to day. And
Uh, you have to be present with the money.
yeah, and that, because then you can redirect, you can do what you need to do in that moment or know what needs to happen. I have found that the sole purpose has caused me to, and still causes me to have to be very honest with myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the relationship with whatever your relationship with money is, it's going to impact your business.
Hmm.
You know,
Yep.
good, bad, or otherwise, it's going to impact your business. And
Hmm.
so getting clean and clear with your relationship with money is a good investment for sure.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we bring it into it, but I will say, yeah, like writing the plans and those things, all of those things kind of just help so
Hmm.
much. And as I tell people, remember, it is at the end of the day business.
Yes.
Like so if somebody down the road is jealous that you're there, I'm just using, they might not understand it's business, but you can.
Right. Yep. Mind your own business.
Yeah, it's like I can't manage the people around who have whatever their beliefs or projections but I can manage mine.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Mhm.
that's a good note to end it on today.
Yeah,
Mind your own business.
mind
Keep
your own business. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, well, this has been a good conversation.
had fun. I feel like we went kind of like Six Flags. I was thinking that Sarah went to Six Flags 2 weeks ago sending me pictures, and I was like, oh, the last time I was with Gary.
The extreme version of Six Flags.
It's
Yes.
like, yes, yeah. It really was like extreme. It was good. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yes. When you go to Six Flags with an adrenaline junkie,
Yes.
it's going to be intense. Oh, well, I hope that we answered the questions. And
Yeah, me too.
I think another plug to keep sending us questions. It gives us, we want to
It
know
helps
what you
us.
want us to talk about. That's
It,
helpful.
it helps us a lot. Yeah, it helps us form topics or
Hmm. Discover rabbit holes. And if we didn't, touch on everything that you wanted us to answer, lob it out there again. Give us a
Mhm.
little bit more specificity. We want to
Yeah.
hear from you. We want to know what you want us to talk about. And
Yep.
yeah, we'll keep doing this every 3 weeks. Well, thanks, Jess. This has been a
Thank
good
you,
time today.
Carrie. Yeah.
And as our closing remark,
Yep.
may the force be with
Let's be
you.
with you.
Bye, everybody.